Hi, right people. Welcome back to 100 Days of Data with Miss Mailiana. It's day 59 out of 100. All right, I'm Miss Mailiana and I'm your lead tutor for this challenge. And today we are looking at EDA report structure. So we've been going through EDA for some time now in the past couple of videos. We've looked at what EDA means, how to go about EDA, what's correlation and the relationship between data and all that. But then note this. EDA is not just exploratory data analysis. It's actually you learning about your data to communicate it better. So you are exploring the data to actually be able to communicate what the data is to people, right? So you're not just doing formulas and mergers and all that and leave it there. No, that's not what you're doing. You're actually going through a whole structure to communicate better. So the very first thing you do when you have a data set, for example, you have a sales data set, you have a housing data set, you have to understand this data. I think I've mentioned this several times. You have to understand the data set's overview, right? So when you're making a report, when you're making like this is like writing a report, okay? You have to now tell us what the data set contains, the rows, the columns, the data types, what the data types is talking about, the meaning of the data, the number of rows, number of columns, all that is information and it's needed for you to communicate that. Then you move on to giving us a cleaning summary. What was fixed? When you were going through the data, when you were cleaning it, what did you find? What was missing? What was added? All that is important. Also note that when you're doing exploratory data analysis, you may find out that we have sales, um we have sales, we have discounts and all that. There's no revenue. So you want to calculate revenue. You've calculated the revenue, so you have to tell it that you added revenue to the new data to the data set. Then now you give us key statistics, the important numbers, the total number of sales that came in, the total amount of money that was spent on marketing. All that is very important. That's what your key statistics, the average, mean, median, and all that I always talk about. Then now you give us visual findings, the charts and patterns. We've looked at line charts, looked at histogram, we've looked at scatter plots. We've also looked at other charts from other videos that are in there for Excel, Power BI, and all that. So use them to show us some findings there that you saw. Maybe when you saw an outlier, you can use the chart, a scatter plot or a box plot to show the outlier. Very important. So you can actually have a dashboard, an EDA dashboard, EDA reports, right? Not a dashboard, EDA reports, which are visuals. Then we have the relationship, the key correlations between data sets, right? As well, you tell us what it's about. Then now your observation. So this is where you give us insights and interpretations on everything that's going on as well. Okay. So at the end of the day, you have a solid report plan. And this is going to help you be able to talk about your data, about your project. And if you have such reports in your portfolio, whoever sees your portfolio knows that this girl or this boy or this guy or this lady knows his or her onions about data analytics. Trust me. So your observation, your interpretation, talk about how the correlation is going on, talk about how the charts, you can talk about how the charts and all those things. Just talk, like, just write, like, like, yes, you did it yourself. So at the end of the day, you realize that EDA is not just analysis, it's actually you communicating. So this is one of the very first communication you give to your stakeholders or to the person you are doing the project for, right? So if you are able to do so, most of the time, I don't want to clean this. Most of the time, when you are a freelancer and you are doing data analysis, right? The very first stage is maybe you get a client, you get the data, the client gives you a data set, right? So after the client gives you a data set, you tell the client that, okay, this is the process I'm going to go on in. I'm going to do an EDA and send you the report on the EDA. You review it and let me know what you want to what questions you want me to answer with the data set. So the client gives you the data set. You give the client, so you are the freelancer, you give the client an EDA report. Now the client reads the report and says it have some questions, so the client comes with more questions. Then now you also meet the client, so now this will be you and the client. You give your final questions before you do your final data analysis, and you send a report. This could be a process of how you actually deal with clients when it comes to data analysis projects for freelancers. All right, I hope this helped, and I'm going to see you on the next video. All right, bye for now.